The opinions expressed in the following program are not necessarily those of Eastlink Community TV, its sponsors, or partners.
Hi there, I'm Gloria McCluskey, and you're watching Destination Dartmouth. My destination today is Parker Street, the home, still under construction, of the Center for Ocean Ventures and Entrepreneurship, and my guest is Peter Bigelow, Director of Planning and Development for Waterfront Development.
Hi,
Peter.
hello, Gloria.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And this is an exciting day. I'm always excited when something great is happening in Dartmouth. And we're down here, the site of the old Coast Guard property. And this week you launched the Cove, which is the Center for Ocean Ventures and Entrepreneurship. And tell me something about that now.
Well,
How did it start?
How did it start?
Who was the brain?
Well, there were a number of brains involved in this. This started about 5 years ago. If you recall,
really?
The Coast Guard were indicating that they were leaving this base and moving down to Bedford Institute. And of course, that was the time that the One Nova Scotia, the Ray Ivany report came out that said that we needed to take control of our future. And if you look at the recommendation number 8, it talks about us taking advantage of our position on the ocean. And there were a group of individuals, Colin McLean be one, Jim Hanlon be the other, some folks from DAL, some folks from NSCC, who basically felt that the ocean was key to our success. And Colin tells the story of looking across from his office at Waterfront Development and looking at this big, massive buildings and property over here in Dartmouth and going, that could be one of our keys to a success in the ocean industries.
Well, isn't that great?
It is cool.
And you know, we have such a wonderful harbor. We all know that. We don't take advantage of it the way we should. We, you go to Vancouver and you look out at the harbor there and you see all the activity in the harbor. But this will bring a lot more activity to this side of the harbor.
This brings activity to the harbor. It's also an economic development engine, if you will. This comes from the fact that we have a lot of research facilities, post-secondary education facilities, BIO. The Navy has extensive research that they do, and it's all clustered here. We've got an incredible concentration of really smart people who know a lot about the ocean. We've got the highest density of ocean-related PhDs in the world.
Oh, isn't that something?
And there are all these small companies that are involved in this. You know, we know that like
40 of them.
Well, 40 of them here will be here, but there are literally hundreds of companies in and around Halifax, Dartmouth, and in Nova Scotia that are involved in the ocean tech industries.
Is that right?
And however, when you're a small company like that, how do you actually, believe it or not, how do you get access to a facility on the ocean where you can bring your ideas, your innovative ideas, you might have been working in your garage or your basement, bring those and develop those, commercialize them, and grow a company that's going to contribute to the economy of Nova Scotia and be recognized. And so that's what Cove is. Cove is modeled after, it's a cluster for the ocean industries. It's also an incubator for those small companies.
Right.
So here we will have, just in this room alone, there, which is our startup yard, a NovaCore, who will operate the startup yard here. They will help brand new companies with their ideas, not just to develop their ideas in terms of the technology, but in order to commercialize an idea, you actually have to know something about business.
Sure,
because it's a big world out there, and we want to be a player in that big world.
Great.
And so you have to be prepared for business. So those companies are actually supported through the Cove program and the startup yard program so that they can advance their technology at the same time as advance their business acumen.
Novacor is in the Woodside.
Novacor is just about everywhere. They're also a Crown corporation like Waterfront Development, and they are really about venture capital and startups.
Great. And this is a publicly funded.
This is really a collaboration. I can't say it's publicly funded. It's funded from the federal government
And the province.
Waterfront Development, Novacor. NSCC played a huge role in this, as well as Dalhousie University. It's part of the Ocean Supercluster, but Irving Shipbuilding is a major contributor. They donated over $5 million to the programs to ensure that businesses have the support here that they need.
So how will NSCC benefit from this?
So NSCC is right up the hill. There's a path that connects us.
I know.
So NSCC will also be in this room. Their applied research group they have an ocean tech program at NSCC at their Waterfront campus, as well as several of the other campuses around the province. Their research people will be here to foster that integration of research and entrepreneurial technology development, so that they will be part of that support mechanism, as well as the students from NSCC will get the opportunity to do research here, develop their own technologies and their own ideas. These young people are fabulous. They also are part of the supply chain of employees to these companies. So if they're maybe not tracking towards becoming their own company as they leave NSCC, with the wealth of experience that they gain here, they could easily become technologists or management folks in these fledgling companies and in the companies elsewhere throughout.
What a great opportunity for them.
Yeah, it's tremendous. It's kind of a synergy. We always say you hear the cliche, the sum is bigger than its parts.
Yes.
This is, because everybody here is bringing something to the table. Dalhousie is bringing the ocean. They're bringing the Ocean Frontier Institute, as well as with IBM and Cisco, they are bringing the DeepSense platform. And the DeepSense platform, just to put it simply, is just very high-end computing. So access to very high-end computing to deal with the reams and reams and reams of data that is generated from the technologies that are out in the ocean, trying to understand the ocean better. And that's really the key. This is about the future. This is about the future of the planet. The oceans are such an important component of this planet. And we as human beings are another important component, and sometimes we mess things up.
With our plastic in the oceans.
Plastics in the ocean is a great example. So there's research going on around how do we limit, collect, or deal with plastics in the ocean. You'll see that kind of innovation coming out.
Will that be here? Will you be talking about that?
There are tenants here, but there's also people working in other institutions around Halifax and in Nova Scotia to attack that very that problem. Another instance is entanglement for the right whale. It's you hear about it all the time now. There are people downstairs who will be tracking those whales.
Hold that thought. We're going to take a break.
Okay, cool.
You're watching Destination Dartmouth. My guest is Peter Bigelow, and we'll be right back. Hi, Peter. We're back. Peter, you were talking about the whales as we left.
Yeah. So whales, very hot topic right now, entanglement. There is a researcher who will be actually working on this floor who is dealing with smart buoy systems, so that loss of gear is a huge thing for fishermen. It's very expensive.
Very expensive.
So this is a tracking device, but it also will play a role in understanding how we can avoid entanglement with those right whales. Also downstairs, there are a number of what they're called gliders. They're autonomous. They look like torpedoes that
yes.
will roam the Gulf and the Atlantic coast, tracking those whales, tracking ships, and trying to understand where those collisions are happening.
Could they not have, they get entangled in these nets, could they not have a net that an animal, I guess, Sarah, as big as a whale, could break free?
Gloria, you should come and be a researcher here at Cove. Those are the kinds of ideas that get fostered here.
Yeah, right.
So you wonder if they shouldn't, and you can if you've got an idea like that, and it's a solid idea,
Yeah.
Then those are the types of people that we want to come and foster those ideas.
And there's so many smart young people out there
yeah.
today.
Yeah.
The world is different.
Yeah, it is different, and
Not that we didn't have smart people always.
no, but you're also, it's so well connected,
Yeah.
and that's why Deep Sense is important, because we have a portal out to all the other ocean industries in the world. It's instant, and the communication technology that will be here will enable that collaboration beyond Cove to the rest of the world. But also, you're seeing real efforts by Department of Education and Labor and Advanced Education, and the folks like the Institute for Ocean Research and Enterprise about getting the ocean message out there and fostering children to actually be interested in the oceans.
And to take care of it.
And to take care of it and be a steady stream
Yeah.
into this economy.
Do you think there's a lot about the ocean that we have still to learn?
Oh, I'm not an oceanographer. I
No.
have friends who are oceanographers, and they say it's barely scratching the surface. Some people claim that we know more about the moon from the moon landings than we
Isn't that a shame?
than we do about the oceans.
My brother, I remember, he was with BIO, and I remember, excuse me, I remember they went up through the passage that time. Yeah, I went up to BIO when I was mayor, and there was a little Russian submarine there that traveled on the bottom of have you ever seen one of those?
No.
Travels on the ocean floor.
Really?
They wanted me to go down, and I said no.
It's probably wise.
Yeah, but it's a shame that we don't, and I'm sure there are fish out there and other forms of life in the ocean that we don't know about.
And as a species, we understand the requirement to be sustainable. I mean, we are the most prevalent species on the earth, and it's our job to take care of it. So to take care of it, we need to understand it.
Will there be somebody looking at fish supply?
They will be there. There are people all around in the network of the ocean tech and ocean industries that are looking at that, and this will be one of the hubs for that kind of collaboration.
And the number of seals we have eating them?
So there's very much some of the companies that are here. Those are very big questions. They're very big questions about the oceans, but it's understanding it is incremental. It's through scientific method, but also through the technology. Just getting a sensor that can get you the right information, so that then someone else can analyze that data. So it's very much an interwoven network that furthers our understanding of the oceans and allows us to understand how we can better use the oceans and better protect them.
Is climate change having an effect on the ocean?
Oh, definitely, definitely. We see it every full moon in this harbor. We're getting higher tides. We're working on a project over with Armour Group, Scott McRae, on Queen's Mark over in Halifax, and we've seen tides and a higher frequency of higher tides than we've ever seen
So
before.
is that really affecting our ocean besides higher tides?
Well, it certainly is affecting the people who live around the ocean.
Oh, certainly.
So we need to understand those.
Yeah.
Those matters. And I was listening today. They're seeing ice shelves melting on the Antarctic and in the Arctic faster than they ever have.
Is there a fish kill when we have a high tide like that?
I'm not sure. See, I'm not.
No.
I'm a guy who kind of
I know.
builds these platforms.
I know.
But it's something that there will
But you
be
haven't
people
heard
here
any
that you can have a
discussion.
conversation
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
about that.
So they will be. So this is a large, you have what, 50,000 square feet of space?
It's almost 50,000 square feet of shops and office.
Yes.
We've got
And 3,000 feet of waterfront?
At 3,000 feet of waterfront, we're on about 12 acres of land, and we've
Yes.
got 8 acres of water lot where people will be able to do some
Pre-Confederation.
testing. Yes, pre-Confederation. So testing is really, really important before you
yes.
put something out in the middle of the Atlantic.
Yes.
You really have to know that it's going to work. So there will be testing going on through here. And that's really, this is for companies, this is really about a value proposition. So if you were out on your own and just simply
Yeah.
renting a space,
Couldn't do that stuff.
somewhere in Dartmouth, you wouldn't have access to all of these facilities. We have a consignment machinist downstairs because oftentimes people need a little widget, a little part,
Yeah.
something printed out with a
great.
3D printer, and so that's available downstairs. Again, the collaboration that we expect to see between the mature companies that are here, and that's what makes Cove different than other places in the world,
Right.
is we have a mix of mature companies in here that are still commercializing new ideas and these new fledgling companies.
Isn't that great? So other companies will flourish as a result.
Other companies will flourish. That's the idea, and then the
They'll
idea
become
is
the big companies.
they could possibly become the big companies. The idea is that when you are in production and you're not in that commercialization kind of phase and that a bit of development phase, that you then move those elements out of here and allow someone else to come in.
Okay, it's a wrap. We have to take another break.
Great.
You're watching Destination Dartmouth with my guest, Peter Bigelow. We'll be right back. Hi, we're back, Peter. I'm talking to Peter Bigelow, and we're talking about Cove, the Center for Ocean Ventures and Entrepreneurship here on the beautiful Dartmouth waterfront. Peter, it must have been a little bit of work to get everybody who's involved here together and to get them to buy in.
Yeah, as with any project of this type, that's the case.
Something new.
It's something new, something that we think is fairly innovative. There's always risk associated with something new, but I think that there was a real commitment by the core partners to really make this work, and key to that was, and this didn't happen overnight. Believe
No,
me,
I'm sure.
there was years of planning and cajoling and convincing folks that this was what was required
And that
here.
this would work.
There had to be examinations of industry and talking to industry about whether this would fit their needs. And so there were key people like the Institute for Ocean Research Enterprise and Jim Hanlon's group, who were really key in making sure that this met industry's requirements and was going to be positive, as well as linking in the different elements like the post-secondary educators, DAL and
Yeah.
NSCC, linking in. So waterfront, we own the property, and looking at the physical facility and trying to figure out how you take really what was an abandoned base
for some
and
time.
make it into something that is going to fit the requirements. And as you know, there's always growing pains associated with that, but really there was such a tremendous commitment to this, and that everyone, when they began to understand it, first of all, the concept is kind of hard to understand, but once you understand it, they go, this is good.
It all fell into
This is good, and more people came on board. This is Department of Business at the province. This is, like I said, Irving Shipbuilding. These are a lot of private firms that have been giving us advice.
We're so lucky we have that mix of businesses here that we could draw
And you know
on.
what? As Nova Scotia, we're going somewhere.
Yeah.
And really, this is one of the avenues that we're
Right.
going down, these ocean sectors, and
Right.
it's so important.
Yeah. So you're going to have something like 200 people working here.
Probably about 200 people when we're full.
Tell me about the setup. Not everybody has an office. They might just have a desk.
Right.
And that's all they need.
Yeah, so we struggled with that. Like, how do we allocate space? What's the type of working environments that people need? Because we had to have, we've got a tremendous yard, and we actually have this is a marine terminal out here, right? Yes. How do you put that together with an office, or labs, or workshops, mechanical shops? So we struggled with that, and I remember sitting in some workshop focus groups with industry and a lot of very smart people, and we were kind of nailing it down. We're going, I think we got it. And then somebody the next day was on the internet and found that a place called Greentown Labs down in Massachusetts had almost come up with the same solution that we did. And so we struck up a relationship with Greentown Labs.
Great.
Learned a lot from them because they were fairly mature. They were in the IT, like technology sector, a different sector. But we learned so much from them, and there's a lot of sharing. There's an organization at Dartmouth College, and just last night the folks from Dartmouth College were here looking at the place.
Yeah. So Peter, some people have come from, as you said, probably the garage working.
Yep.
They can have a desk here with a chair and work with all the other people who are in here and learn from all the other people who are in here.
Right. And we also have, because there's mature companies that are here,
yes.
and some of them are bringing 16 and 20 employees, and they actually need what we call a demised environment, a cloistered environment. But the way we've designed the space is that they are on the same floors as what we call our open office desk rentals. So there's always constant contact. The demised companies, the companies that are behind some walls to meet their needs, they don't have a kitchen. It's, if
so they have to come
you
out
can see over my shoulder, can see over my
yeah.
shoulder, there's a kitchen here. Those people will use the same kitchen.
Sure.
There was always a mantra that the most important thing here was going to be the coffee maker.
Yeah, togetherness.
Right? To get those people, create collisions. So the whole place is designed so that there are collisions, so that people are constantly interacting. You can't hide. You have to be part of Cove, and there's
sharing.
A commitment when you come here that you're part of that sharing. One example of that is Colin McLean Hall downstairs, which is named after dedicated after our president, who's one of the key people who fostered
Colin
this
was
idea.
a great person.
He was a wonderful person.
Left us far too soon.
Sadly, we miss him.
Yeah.
But we're very happy that because that is the prime area for collaboration is downstairs. It's just a big open hall,
right.
Multi-purpose hall, right? And it's well appointed, and people will go there to do work or get a lecture on business or present to a major international client. So that's and that's really what Colin was all about.
So you're 70% full?
We're 70% subscribed right now, and as of after the ribbon cutting, we've been getting a lot of calls.
Because people really found out about it.
Yeah, and they're saying, okay, I better move on this because
Peter,
it's filling up.
I'm sad to say that our time has elapsed, and it's been great talking to you about this Center for Ocean Ventures and Entrepreneurship, which is something totally new on our waterfront. And I must say, you and all of the other people have done a great job in bringing it here.
But we have had a tremendous team.
Yeah, I know you have. So Peter, there will be open house for the public in July. I hope to get down to, I'm looking at it under construction now. It's going to be so much better. Anyway, Peter, thanks again for coming here this morning.
Thank you very much, Gloria.
Great conversation. Thank you for watching. I've been interviewing Peter Bigelow on the new center, or the launch of the new Center for Ocean Ventures and Entrepreneurship. See you later.